Deep inside Iraq, a platoon of Iraqi soldiers are attacking an 8-man U.S. Army Special Forces team. With limited ammo, the Green Berets desperately call for help. Their only hope is the United States Air Force.
When we got back up to the fighting position, we set back up the SATCOM. We had a LST-5. They were telling us, okay, close air support's on the way in. Okay, let's get the radio into VHF mode.
But there's another problem.
Well, in the confusion of blowing up equipment, moving up, we had lost a critical component for that radio.
Where's the antenna? Where's the antenna?
We'd lost the antenna.
Makes it real hard to talk to the aircraft like that. We could hear aircraft above us. Problem was they couldn't hear us.
Anybody.
Jimmy's on the ground trying to hit the aircraft that are 10,000 feet above us, you know, and it just wasn't working.
Get it out of here.
As a last resort, they pull out an old backup radio called a PRC-90.
Pointer, I got someone on the hook. Here you go.
It was a Vietnam-era Air Force survival radio the air crews carried.
If they didn't have that radio, they would have lost their link to the rest of the forces.
I'm not getting anything.
So Groff starts calling on it.
Mayday.
All I remember was hearing buzzsaw on the PRC-90, just begging, just screaming, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. I mean, he was just on the radio, pushing it.
We were a couple hundred miles out, and that's when I first heard the contact of Sergeant Groff.
All of a sudden, someone came over Buzzsaw's radio. And I was like, holy cow. He's talking to somebody, and that was just a heavenly experience right there. I heard the screaming of the engines in the skies above. I was like, okay, we got help here.
You got a 4-ship coming in with CBU-87 on those vehicles.
Roger, we certainly appreciate it, over.
The first jet to arrive is an F-16 known as a Killer Scout, called Pointer on the radio. His job is to literally point out the Special Forces position to the first arriving F-16 4-ship, led by Colonel Billy Deal.
When the F-16s were heard them coming over, it was kind of like your big brother showing up in a street fight.
With F-16s overhead, the Special Forces team now has a fighting chance to survive until nightfall, when rescue helicopters can pick them up. But there's a huge problem. From 10,000 feet, the pilots can't see the Green Berets' exact position on the ground. And they're carrying cluster bombs, made to destroy tanks. If they drop too close, they will kill the Americans.
When we first got over to the area, they were asking us to drop their weapons. I talked to the Killer Scout, and I said, ensure they understand this is danger close. We have CBU-87, not a precision weapon. The comeback was, it doesn't matter. These guys are all over us. Put it down. Now our hearts really start beating. We're going, boy, we're going to have to do this right.
When you call in close air support, the very first thing you have to relay is your own position. But if they do not know where you're at on the ground, then they cannot drop.
Precision was absolutely critical.
On the radio, Buzzsaw uses the call sign Guard as he tries to give the team's position to the F-16s.
This is Guard. Can you see the ditch from your altitude, over?
Looking down, looking for irrigation ditches from that height. It took us a while to figure out where that irrigation ditch was.